Right, this is a demonstration for the GIS Viewer that I've been using for the Drakenstein municipality. It's the ArcGIS Explorer. First thing you'll notice is the series of layers on the left here. This is the table of contents. All these layers are very similar, if not identical, to the maps that you've got in your report and how they've been set up in the GIS plans and layers. Okay, so now if a user wants to find out which layers intersect their property, they can, if they know where their property is, they can immediately come in here using the pan tool and their scroll wheel on their mouse. They can zoom to their property, and then once they recognize the boundaries, they can select the property and query the attribute table. If they don't know where their property is exactly, they can use the query tool. So I'm going to do that as an example now quickly. So we first need to select our layer to make sure it's the active layer in the attribute table, in the table of contents. Then we go to tools and we select query, and this opens the query builder, and these are the field names in the attribute table. So if the user knew their farm name or the SG code or the parcel number, they could use those here, but we're going to use the parcel number, so I double click that to add it to the expression window. So I'm going to say my parcel number equals, and then in single inverted commas I'm going to type out the farm description, which is portion 1 of farm 102. Let's just test that to see if it does exist. Yes, it does. So now we're happy with that, and we can say OK. And the first thing it'll do is add it to our table of contents at the top here. A new layer is added, and then zoom automatically to our feature or our property boundary. Right, now we can perform a little query on it. We can, using our little hand tool, we just click on our property, and what it'll do then is pop up with a number of options depending on how many layers there are that intersect our property or our query, that is. In this instance there's a couple, but we're going to use this one here that we've just added in the layer that was added in our query. We select that, and it shows us all the attribute information concerning that particular earth. You'll notice here I've got 3 layers, EMZ 1, 2 and 3. So the property already, we can tell that there are 2 layers that intersect it, and by clicking on either of these 2 layers they'll get a direct link to the procedures in your documentation for those constraints. So let's just click on this link here and see what happens. We'll click on it, and what happens is it automatically opens an Explorer window and zooms directly to the chapter concerned. Okay, so now they can read up here and just see exactly what procedures or what documentation there is with regards to that particular layer. EMZ2, same thing happens. Click on that, and it automatically opens it up. Okay. So what I've done now is I've stored this PDF online, and then I've got this little condition at the end of the URL, hashtag page equals 98. So now what that does is it just scrolls through to that particular page, and in this instance it's 98 for EMZ1 and 112 for EMZ2. That's not important. What's important to know is that this is stored online, currently on my web page, but this can be stored on the department's web page, wherever. It doesn't really matter as long as it's online and the user has an internet connection. Okay, so now if they actually want a visual of which layers intersect their property, we can turn on the EMZ layers. So let's turn on the keep assets intact zone and see what happens. Okay, there we go, it's starting to redraw now. We can see everything in green is a keep assets intact layer. Turn that one off. And then the develop with care resources, same thing. So these were the 2 URL links. The reason there were 2 URL links for those 2, EMZ1 and 2, is because of those two intersections, and there wasn't one for restrictions and conditions. So we turn that on, it doesn't show. If we zoom out just a little bit, you'll see that they do appear further down for other properties. Okay, so now the user has got a way of zooming to his property and then seeing which layers intersect, getting a link to the conditions in your documentation, and now they can also have a look in more detail at the particulars about that property by turning on one or two of these other layers here. And this is, like I mentioned, this is exactly how it appears in the report. This takes a little while to draw because it's accessing each of these layers separately and then attaching some kind of color to them. So it is quite power hungry, but most people's machines should be able to handle this, no problem. So now we can see for the keep assets intact layer, if we move down, we can sort of color code what's going on here. Okay, we've got critically endangered. Those are the black speckles. Critical biodiversity areas, the green stuff, and then also there's the wetland setback zone. So now they've got another way just to see exactly what those particular layers or concerns are. Okay, that's pretty much where we are at the moment with this thing. Because it's ArcGIS Explorer, there are a couple other features which are pretty useful in that you can have a direct link to online imagery and other information. If I just show you that quickly now, I'm going to turn on that image. So all I'm doing now is just turning on a base image which is being streamed across the internet into this particular map, which is fairly useful. It gives us a direct link to imagery and other information. And that's also part of the reason why I didn't add roads and rail and that kind of stuff, because you can come in here and turn on a different base layer depending on what you want shown at the back there. By doing it that way, we keep our total file size a bit smaller. So there we go. So now we can see this aerial imagery, what's going on that particular farm, and the user can confirm, yes, that is my farm, there's my house, etc. Okay, so that's pretty much where we are with this. I'll send you an email as well just to describe some other issues that I have had, but otherwise I'm quite happy with this, but I'd be interested to hear what your comments are. Thanks.